Are we running? Yes. Hello, I hope everyone's well. The weather here is dreadful. Absolutely fed up with it. We have just booked a week in Bavaria. So I'm really looking forward to a little trip away from rainy Scotland. But anyway, today 16, which is the hall floor and back wall, and then 17 and 18, which is the living room sofa. So we will have a look at the magazines and then get going with the construction of these bits and pieces. So 16 is continuing with the kitchen room box. I think we've done this one, you know. Day box. Oh no, we've seen the day box. We haven't seen the patterns for the day box. Definitely want to have a go with that one. And then the scullery. So you get to make everything, the doors and everything. And there is the scullery that it tells you how to make. I'm not convinced that hasn't been already looked at. I might have got into a muddle here, but here it is again anyway. The brick copper looks interesting. Where would that? Oh, that's in that. That's the copper. Like a big boiler. Right, so that's that one. And now we've got number 17. And I'm going to have to open it because I haven't. So excuse the rustling. This is the sofa. It's very kind of colonial Spanish, I think. And from what I've seen of the pictures of the Casa Azul, Frida Khalo's home, then there was quite a lot of this kind of furniture in it, as well as much more simple, kind of traditional country Mexican furniture. But I haven't been able to find a picture of a sitting room, so it's going to be a kind of a guessing game, this one, I think. We've got the pieces of wood. Looks like the back there. And they're the legs, aren't they? I have made one of these before, but it was quite a while ago now, and I can't really remember. The magazine. The patterns. Again, it's not a full-size pattern. It looks slightly too big to be 24th scale. The instructions. And a piece of cardboard. And I will do a tutorial on the notebooks I make with the cardboard at some point in the future. That's the pattern for the copper. So that's an interesting thing to make. And then the draining board. And a pattern for the settle there. I really would like to have a go at one of those. There's a guy cleaning his boots sitting on the settle there. And then you get patterns for a little shelf and a clothes horse. And another view of the scullery, of a scullery. Oh, and an apron. That's quite fun, isn't it? I think I've made one of those. They're quite good to make up. I've made a Christmas one, that's right. Right, 18. It's the other bit of the three-seater sofa. So what they've tried to do, I think, is make it so that if you just wanted to buy one bit to get the furniture, it's difficult. For lots of the furniture comes over two parts. Quite cunning marketing ploy. Again, the same picture. That must be the arms, I would imagine. Nasty piece of fabric that I won't be using. upholstery sponge. As you can see, these are very old, so it's been sitting with a bit of that wood on it since the 1990s. It's kind of indented, but it doesn't matter, I just use it the other way. That's the magazine. The rest of the instructions are the card that you need for the upholstery, and another piece of notebook cover. Right, let's just have a quick whiz through this. So we're onto a parlour now. There it is. Cosy. Like a kind of Red Riding Hood granny's parlour. And again, you get the doors. Instructions for a 4-panelled door. A fireplace. A pattern for a bookcase. And a chiffonniere. Ooh, that's fancy. So yeah, that's the magazines. We're just basically going through looking at furniture at the moment and plans for furniture. So there are many plans for furniture in these set of booklets. So now I'm going to have a go. I didn't show you the pieces for the back wall and the floor, but I will show you me making them, because I've kind of done it. I got ahead of myself and forgot to do some of the footage. So I'll show you making them, and then we'll take it from there. So this is where we're at with the actual build. That's the kitchen, and here is the hallway now with the floor. I haven't stuck anything down yet because I'm going to wait until I get the next bit here, because I think there's going to be some adjustments needed. But as you can see, I've kind of I'm supporting the floors by using these cardboard and a little bit of spare ply, which is the same height as that. Otherwise, it's just the back wall and this piece here that was supporting the floor off the ground. And I've also, if you can see, I've put wood. That wood bit there is my doing, and on the other side here as well, just to help support the back wall, so that it's not just being glued with a 3mm piece of ply. So that's where we're at the moment with the build, and I think the next piece to come will be this wall here, which divides the hall from the living room. And when I get that, I will then complete the gluing of this into a box shape. So we're back to the cutting and sanding of the pieces of furniture here. So I will just cut out one piece. I didn't want to do the speeded up thing for every single episode and every single part. So sometimes I'll do a bit of a speeded up bit, and sometimes I'll just show you a little bit of the process and then come back to you. It is going to get pretty samey because making kit furniture is basically just about cutting out the bits, sanding them, painting them and gluing them together. But I'm kind of determined to show each single episode of this kit, so I'm going to plough on. This one's a bit of a toughie. Some of them in the past have been able to just push out, but clearly not this one. There, that's one bit done, and I will come back when they are all done. So they're all sanded, and I just need to use my lint free cloth to dust them off a bit. I think this might need to have a bit of a wash, this cloth. It's getting a bit sawdust coloured, sand dust. I had a Spanish lesson earlier on today, and I'm completely brain dead now. I can't speak either language. Some people just brush the dust off with a soft brush, but I just do it. I like doing it this way. It's a funny old project, this, really, because, you know, I don't want to do a replica of, complete replica of Frida Khalo's house, slavishly copying everything in the house. Partly because I need to follow use what I've got that came with the kit, and also because there's not that, I've not been there, and the pictures online, there aren't that many of them, so even if I wanted to do that, I couldn't really. So the other thing I don't want to do is some kind of stereotypical Mexican daubing, paint flowers all over things. I just think that's a bit sort of derivative as well. So I'm sort of stuck in the middle between, between three things really: the kind of Mexican theme, the kit that I have to use, and the Frida Khalo thing. I mean, I really enjoy the Frida Khalo aspect to it, because I've learned a lot about her life and a lot about her art. So that's quite, and the other thing I like is that, well, from what I've learned, as I've said, is that her and Diego's style of furnishings was very simple. The decorative kind of elements in their home tended to come more from the objects that they had rather than from the furniture, which I think is quite a nice way of doing things. So I am keeping it as simple as I can really with the furniture, and not doing this painting everything, you know, Mexican stereotypical colours, because that's not what they had, and I think it would just look too toy-like as well in this scale. But anyway, I shall get on. I'm going to stain this with American walnut, gringo walnut, that is probably what Frida would have called it, and then leave it to dry and glue it together and get on with the upholstery. I don't have any gloves. I've ordered some, but they haven't come yet, so I'm going to have to be fairly careful not to dye my hands too much. I had a friend who went for a job interview, and the day before she dyed something purple, some piece of fabric, and didn't realise there was a hole in the glove, and dyed one hand purple. She didn't get the job, but at least I'd remember her. Oh, that was the one with the purple hand. Oh, the other thing I wanted to start to do really was to, when I'm doing this kind of rather dull, repetitive thing, is talk a little bit about Frida Khalo and her life. And the book I read, I'll share the title in the description below, but it told a few amusing stories about her. Her and Diego. Diego was just a womanizer. He sounds like a bit of a pig, to be honest. But she also had numerous affairs with both men and women. And one of the affairs she had was with, I think he was a photographer. And they decided they were going to set up an apartment together in Mexico City, a sort of a love nest. So they found an apartment and got some furniture, but because Diego Rivera was actually, her husband was actually better known as the artist when they were alive, they obviously recognised her as Diego Rivera's wife, and in the furniture shop, and just sort of assumed that the bill should go to him. So he got a bill for the furniture for this his wife's love's nest, which he wasn't too happy about. But if you knew anything about him, it absolutely serves him right, because as I said, he was an absolute womanizer. I think he must have had at least four wives by the end of his life. That's my hearing aid making that feeding back noise. I'm going to turn it off. Sometimes it shifts on my head and feeds back into my ear a bit. Right. I'm actually doing quite a good job of not getting it on my hands, which is quite unlike me. But there's still some to go. There's still time. I think that there is at the moment a big exhibition of Frida's work in London, which I'm quite tempted to go to, but no, I'm in Scotland, so it's a bit of a trip. And I've read reviews, and although her work is kind of, the reviewer in, I think it was The Guardian, I can't remember which paper it was now, nobody says anything bad about her anymore, do they? But yeah, they thought it was all marvellous. There apparently lots of the rooms in the exhibition have been taken up with what he calls hangers-on. They've kind of, got people inspired by and all that malarkey going on. So I don't know, I think I probably will go. It's on for a while. And I think it's got quite a lot of her clothes. When she died, Diego locked up a lot of her possessions in a bathroom in the house. and stipulated that it couldn't be opened for, I think it was 30 years, but I might have got that wrong, but it was a long time. And when they did open it, they found a lot of her clothing, the traditional dresses that she enjoyed wearing. So I'd really like to see those. And one of the reasons she liked wearing those was because they covered up her deformities. She had one leg shorter than the other. I think she had that from polio when she was a child. She wasn't particularly lucky with her health. And then she had a bus accident, which was the famous accident she had, which really nearly killed her. Apparently the ambulance men didn't want to take her to hospital because they thought that it would be a waste of time. They thought she was dead or that she'd die pretty quickly. Other people in the accident had already died. But yeah, I'll have to have a look at all the... in this book that I read, there's a little list of all the injuries that she suffered, and it was absolutely horrific. Poor, she was only, I think, 18 or 19. And her mother only went to visit her once or twice. She was in hospital for at least a month, if not longer. Yeah, and her mother sounds like a narcissist, I think. She was too upset to visit her. But that's when she really started painting, because she couldn't do anything. She was she'd broken her back as well, and was in some sort of body cast, and they bought her paints and rigged up a special easel for her. So getting there with this. I think I'll leave it to dry, and then I'll possibly do another coat, because it doesn't matter how hard you try, you always miss bits. Well, I will recommend the tweezer method in future, because it's worked really well. I've got loads of these tweezers. I tend to try and do things with them that bend them, so they don't last very long with me as far as using them as tweezers go, but for work like this, they're pretty good. Yeah, it's going to need another coat because it's a bit uneven. I mean, lots of it is going to be covered up with the upholstery, but it's difficult to know what will be, so it's better to try and do a decent job. Okay, so I will come back to this when it's ready to glue together. Please excuse the shaky footage. I'm holding the camera or the phone in my hand. The sofa now has a second coat of wood dye on it. I managed to spill the wood dye, so they got slightly more than they probably needed. So we're two coats of wood dye in. I've done a kind of rough dry fit of these three pieces. So I've just put a load of bits of masking tape on the edge of the desk in preparation, and now they're catching on my sleeve. So now I'm going to do a bit of gluing anyway. As always, I'm just using this wood glue. You can use tacky glue, Gorilla wood glue, but this seems to work fine. It's a lot cheaper than Gorilla wood glue. I do have Gorilla wood glue. I just picked this up first and thought I'd give it a go, and it's been perfect. I think I shall get some more of this. So sometimes with these tabs and slots, to try and remember which way they're going to go. Like this. glue. Ooh. Right, this is where that masking tape's going to come in, isn't it? Because it's an extremely unstable thing at the moment. I should really leave that to dry. Ooh. Right, okay. I am going to carry on, even though I shouldn't really, because I'm too impatient. This is a case of don't do as I do, learn from my mistakes. I hate waiting for glue to dry. I'm not as bothered about excess glue on this bit because it's going to be covered up with the upholstery. So that's going to go like that. Get that on there straight. Oh, that's gonna, my trusty thing is gonna make sure that's level, I think. And then what I'm going to do here is just fill in underneath with glue. You won't be able to see this, but it will just strengthen the whole thing a bit. Because the front of it has that lip, I'm kind of betting that this side of it won't be seen. So we can slather that on and leave that to dry. And then I think I'm going to, because that is not really, I mean, I think it would be better once it's got the sides on. That's the thing about furniture. Most furniture is essentially a modified box of some sort or another, and it's the box shape that gives it its sort of structural integrity. So until you've got the box made, you are going to kind of run into things pulling out shape and falling off. So yeah, I think what I'll do is leave that to dry, and when that's dry I shall put the sides on, thus completing the box, and then I shall go back and do a line of glue under that bit there to strengthen the whole thing. I'm not going to do the upholstery until this is complete, because you need to be able to kind of measure bits and make sure they're going to fit. I did manage to find during my great big scrap sort this fabric, which I really like and I think would look lovely. So I'm going to ditch the dull burnt orange and use this instead. I know I said about the furniture all being very simple, but you know, you are entitled to change your mind, and I have definitely changed mine. It's worth keeping hold of larger size scraps. As I say, I've thrown away anything that's under 3 or 4 centimetres square, but these larger ones, I mean, if you're going to do miniature patchwork, then it's worth keeping smaller bits. I have had a go at that, and I've got a project on the go at the moment, but it's fiddly as hell, to be honest, and it's something that you really need to be in the mood to do, so it's going to take me probably a year or so to complete that. And I don't think I'll be doing another one, so all the bits I kept because I thought I might get into miniature patchwork have now gone in recycling. Okay, so I will come back when this is dry and carry on. First bit of the gluing is now dry enough to continue. So now we are onto the sides. Now I'm pretty sure these have to, you would slope like that. So I need to glue these sides in place. I've immediately forgotten which bit. So that's going to go like that. So it's the actual sides of this that need to be glued. Ooh. On both sides, isn't it? It's quite a lot of glue. It's quite a tight fit. That's in. That's in. That's in now. That is gapping a bit, but I think I'm going to have to live with that. See if we can. I want to get a clamp. That's it. Whoops. That's better, isn't it? Yeah. So, no. Well, it's clear that you're either going to have a gap there or a gap further back. And I think I prefer to have a gap further back rather than a gap in there. I think that's the crucial bit for me. Right, so it's a pretty fiddly fit to get that into there. Pokes that bit there out. But I'm going to go with that. I want it like that, flush. I think that's going to take a bit of clamping. That's one done. Yeah, that's not as... I have done one before, but I think what I probably did was, because I painted that one and I could fill better. That's the joy of painting things, is that it actually covers a multitude of sins, which staining things doesn't. But I'm hopeful that the worst of it will be covered up by the upholstery. And again, I mean, you know, they're not the greatest kits. They don't fit together properly. And what we're going for is an overall look rather than perfection. An overall look and something that's not going to suddenly fall apart would be good. So that's... Just check that fiddling around with that hasn't moved that. No, that's fine. So that can stay clamped. And now I need to glue this. Bits coming off it. I saw one of these kits for sale on Marketplace. No, it wasn't. It was on one of the Doll's House sites. So someone was asking whether they were very interested. I think they said sensible offers. So people were saying, well, what do you think is a sensible offer? They used to be able to pick up the whole kit for about £50. I think I got this one for, including postage, for around 80. I can't really remember, but you do see them for silly prices, you know, 200 pounds. And some lady was asking whether it would be suitable for a beginner. It's a very difficult question to answer, that, isn't it? It depends what kind of a beginner, really. But personally, I would, if you were a complete novice and had no experience of model building, I probably wouldn't. I'd go for something that gave you a bit less trouble to fitting, as far as fitting went. Oh, that was my hearing aid again, so I'm going to turn it off. Okay, right, so it's that there seems to want to pop out. So it's not allowed to, is it? And I'm going to get another clamp. As I may have said before, I got these on holiday in Spain, and I think they're used for clamping tablecloths to tables and towels to sunbeds, but they're very useful and they weren't very expensive. Okay, so I'm going to tip it up and whack a load of glue in there. I don't want to glue over this green tape. Get rid of that. I've got this glue left, so I might as well use it. You wouldn't do this with a piece of furniture where any of this was visible, obviously, because it would just look a mess, but I frequently do it on pieces of furniture where it's not visible, because it does really help strengthen things. Now with this, I would have done it along there, but there are gaps, so I'm not going to, because I think that's fairly pointless. So I'm just going to turn it back over. Okie dokie. So I can start fitting some of this upholstery, and it's basically the same procedure as when we did the dining room chair. So this time you've got curves. Now that one fits quite nicely in there, doesn't it? That's the bottom cushion, and this is the back. So we haven't got much room to play with around the sides of that, but I think that would be all right. And the thing to what we're going to have to watch out for is this curve here, to make that look neat. And then the other pieces are the pieces for the arms, which I presume fold like this. I've not ever done the arms before because I've always just left them bare, but I quite like the idea of doing the arms this time, mainly because it's a bit dark, this wood, and I think it would be too dark to leave without the arms on. The upholstering the arms will lighten the whole thing up a bit. At some point I might even read the instructions. Okay, so all those pieces need to be upholstered. I'm going to read the instructions on the arms before I do anything else. I'm not going to bother reading the instructions on these two bits because I have actually done these before. And what I need to do is use the foam and cover the seat and the back. I've got this glue, so I may as well use this glue. What I will do is cover both these bits with the foam and then cut them out again. I've fitted the foam bits on, so I know that everything should fit okay once I start covering it. I've no idea how these arm bits are going to look, but I'm just going to have to trust the process here. And I'll be sticking them using a combination of double-sided sticky tape and glue. I think the glue might work better on the curved bits. This is just Alien's tacky glue. So here goes. and the finished cushion, not cushion, I'm gone mad now, finished sofa. I stuck all these pieces down, and I did hold them down with masking tape for a while they dried to make sure that they laid flat. I have made a slight rookie error with the arms in that one's got the foam on the outside and this one has the foam on the inside, but I don't think you can actually notice that. I'm actually really pleased with the way that curved around the arm like that. So yeah, I've never really done those before. I've always just left the arms bare, but I really quite like that. It looks quite cozy. These are cushions that I made with scraps, and you can see how I did that in a kind of companion video that I'm going to put up at the same time as this video. They're okay. I kind of toying with the idea of maybe doing blue cushions as a contrast, but I'm not sure. I'll leave these cushions as they are for now, and move on to the next part of the house. If you've enjoyed watching, then please do like and subscribe. I do a happy dance whenever I get another subscriber, and I tell my partner. I think we're up to 53 now, so here's fame and fortune for you. And thanks again, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.